Some of y'all don't heard me say it before. The better the attitude, the better or higher or elevated your altitude. And better ideas helps better mindsets, or better mindsets helps better ideas, better behavior, so forth and so on. But we get a chance to activate it. I hope everybody's feeling good for no reason at all. Radiating, vibrating, operating, being the most present illustration and what you're able to demonstrate according to your vibration. As I said in the beginning or in the opening, the better the attitude, the better the altitude. You hear me? But we all get to decide. And I'm having a good day. I've had a long day. I've been on go all day, But for the most part, since movement is medicine, my day has been good. And it's so crazy because I'm so tired that I want to lay down and go to sleep, but my adrenaline's still running. So I gotta find something. I gotta find something to do with it. I gotta find something to do with it. But Oseo to the Indian, Shalom, Salam, Hotep, Alafia, Namaste, Aloha, and I hope I ain't forgetting nothing or that other good stuff. You hear me? But I hope everybody having a good day today, or have had a good day, depending on the hour, according to your geographical location. But every day is a good day because every day we get above ground, we get to decide, And many of y'all don't heard me say that before. We get to decide how we choose to feel on any given day. And this day happens to be what we know as Sunday. Any given Sunday, you hear me? But it's on us through every day that we giving. And it's going to be situations. It's going to be circumstances. It's going to be experiences, that if haven't occurred in our life, will occur in our life, that we don't like, that we don't want to experience, that we may wish we had not to experience, sometimes within our control and sometimes not, But it's not what happened in any given situation. It's not what happened according to what we may be experiencing, more than how we react to what we experiencing. You hear me? But it's how we come into this world. We come into this world, to figure these things out. And according to the world that we living in, because we ain't all living in the same world. And every person represent a world within themselves. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. But this is how we come into this world. We live in it, how we learn to live in it. But how are we going to respond when we're going through difficult times? It's on and up to each and every one of us. Who do we confide in, or what type of people do we choose to have around us, if anyone at all? It's up to each and every one of us. How do we know that we can share what we're going through when we're going through difficult times? It's up to each and every one of us. What not to share, it's up to each and every one of us. Everybody loves somebody, and I say that because everybody loves to share good news with somebody they know. But even good news not always good to share. And some of y'all don't heard me say this before, but I'm led to repeat it. All good news is not good to share, according to who you may be sharing it with. You hear me? Because everybody's smiling in your face, it's not for you. You heard? But if you lived enough, or you live long enough to learn through living, you know that already. I ain't telling you nothing new. But what about when it's not so good news? What about when it's not so good news? What do you do then? Who can you talk to then? Do you know how to pick and choose who you can talk to? Who to share what with, when, and when. Who to share what with and when. You know, these are the training moments. These are the growing pains. You know, sometimes some things you can't tell no one, no matter how good, no matter how bad, or whatever the case may be, because it's in those moments that you got to go through that experience by yourself, for yourself, with yourself, not by yourself. On the surface, surface part of things, but by yourself in the substance of things. You know, with yourself. It's a difference. It is. It's a difference. I ain't trying to trick y'all. It's a difference. But if you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You know, and I said it like that because if you meant to get it, you will. If you meant to get it, you can. And if you meant to get it, you have already. You know. But how do you encourage yourself in the trying times? How do you encourage yourself when you're going through things that you don't want to go through? But if it's happening, it's something that you got to go through because it's happening. You know, how do you lift yourself up in those moments? Through the difficult situations, through the difficult circumstances, you know, through the difficult experiences. How do you lift yourself up then? You know, cause by now, all of us should have some type of blueprint. All of us should have some type of, you know, format, you know, that we could trust. I won't say depend on, but that we could trust based off the experiences that we already had. You know, I know I do. You know, because I ain't trying to repeat things that I don't got no business repeating, and I sure ain't trying to repeat things that I don't have to repeat. You know, so I make it my obligation to learn much as I can, when I can, and when I can. You hear me? Because every day is an opportunity to learn something. You hear me? Whether it's something that we're going through ourselves or something that we're observing or witnessing. You hear me? Yeah, try to learn something every day. It's important to learn something every day. If you ain't learning something, at least one thing every day, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? You know, if you ain't found the ability to feel good for no reason at all, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with the lessons that you don't have to get you into that place? Through people, places, and things. What are you doing? Cause lessons come through people, places, and things. And through the experiences that many of us have already had, we should be able to get to that place for no reason at all. Real easy. You know, no matter how we would like to feel, because a lot of times in ways that we would like to feel, you know, if we wise enough, we know them ain't the best ways for us to feel. Y'all think Sawu don't be wanting to go off the deep end sometimes? You know, y'all think Sawu don't be wanting to be reckless sometimes? Y'all think Sawu don't be wanting to act ratchet sometimes? It was a time that I was used to doing that. You hear me? But it's also a thing called growing up. It's also a thing called maturity. It's also a thing called evolving. It's also a thing called being wiser. It's also a thing called avoiding the shit that you don't want to find yourself in, that you know you don't like to find yourself in when you find yourself in it. You see? Yeah. But yeah, I can relate. For whoever I'm talking to, I can relate. But one thing about Sawu, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter how I'm feeling, or the feelings that's going on within me, for me to recognize a feeling by way of emotion. I know before I go further down, I have to use everything I got and everything I am to get myself further up. You hear me? Regardless of what, regardless of who, regardless of what, I have to start working my way back up from the moment I recognize that how I'm feeling is not where I want to be or I intend to be. You know, anything that's in opposition to feeling good for no reason at all is not my natural state, and yours either. You hear me? It's not our natural state. If you think of lying, pay attention to a baby. Pay attention to a child. They'll be crying. They'll be crying 1 second and laughing the next. Because feeling good is our natural state of being. You know, it's just through our upbringings, through our raisings, which brought about training and domestication. You know, a lot of us have been drowned from, you know, being able to operate from that space. You know, and that's by design, it's by purpose. You know, and it wasn't those people fault that we came through, or those people fault who raised us, or those people fault who was responsible for our upbringings. You know, because many things was passed on, the same situations, circumstances, and conditions that we endured, those that we came from had to endure. And you know, we could go through the generations, you know, and watch the patterns, but you know, different subjects activate different vibrational ranges. You know, different situations activate different vibrational ranges. Different circumstances activate different vibrational ranges. Different conditions activate different vibrational ranges. You know, and we all come from different walks of life. You know, even those of us who come from the same walks of life, if you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You know, because no life is lived from the same place. You know, no life is lived from the same place, depending on the situation, circumstances, and conditions. So different subjects activate different vibrational ranges. You hear me? So we could be in the same neighborhood, going through the same things, experiencing the same things, witnessing the same things, and around all the same people, and it's going to be a difference, because different subjects activate different vibrational ranges. Why? Because the individual who doing the perceiving. You hear me? And unless we perceive the same, we do not see the same. You hear me? But it's good to be living, you know, living life from the inside out, you know, and not be flipped outside in. It's a difference, you know, looking at yourself from the outside. You know, it's much more beneficial to be looking at yourself from the inside. You hear me? But you got to know when to draw the line, you know, and situations, circumstances, and conditions gonna give us all the training that we need to figure out how to draw the line, you know. And it ain't much that we have to do other than pay attention. We ain't got to do too much but pay attention, you know. And if you're paying attention, and if you learning from what you have experienced, what you are experiencing, and what you will experience, you know, in a way that you're able to keep yourself above the clouds, then keep doing what you're doing. You hear me? Keep doing what you're doing. But I ain't come through to stay long. I just came through to say a few things. I guess I'm led to flip one, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip one and see what. Oh, it ain't take long. It ain't take long. Be found. Sometimes you gotta get lost. And it's funny that came up. To be found, sometimes you gotta get lost, fall deep into the realm of imagination. But why I say it's funny that came up, because I was thinking a little earlier, you know, and my height, you know, or I wasn't just thinking, I was in dialogue with my higher self, and having conversation with myself, you know, and myself said to me, the greatest thing that I ever did was remove myself from everyone and everything that was not conducive to my highest possible expansion. And the more I said in that, I was kind of like welcoming to it, but at the same time, I was perplexed about it, because I don't remove myself from a lot of people, a lot of places, and a lot of things, to the point that so if someone was one was observing me from the outside, from outside of myself, you know, it'll look like I be by myself, you know. But all those people, places, and things have been replaced, you know, with people, places, and things that's more conducive, that's more beneficial, that's more encouraging, you know, to where I'm at in my right now, you know. So it's funny how life worked like that, you know. Divine timing. It's funny how divine timing worked like that, you know. And I'm gonna talk about that in another time, but yeah, it worked like that, because to change yourself, to change, I'll say, you gotta love yourself into the changes, not the changes that you would like to see. You gotta love yourself into the changes that you want to be. Sometimes you gotta be it before you see it, you know. Sometimes you gotta be it before you see it. And sometimes you gotta see it in order to be it. It's gonna work. It ain't gonna work the same for everybody, you know. But if you be what you want to see within yourself, you should definitely see it outside yourself, you know. And the more we work towards that, our presence become priceless. And when your presence become priceless in the places that you had to make yourself absent to, you know, with the people you had to make yourself absent to, with the things you had to make yourself absent to, I bet you they recognizing your value now. You hear me? Get lost.